Elite Facts presents
10 strangest phobias in existence.
10.
Calrophobia. Let's start this list off with a common one. Calrophobia is an abnormal or exaggerated fear of clowns. Now, admittedly, this is quite common as it's a fear that most children have and is also a phobia that's quite common with teenagers and adults. So it's normal in that sense. However, the fear itself is still somewhat odd. Sufferers sometimes acquire a fear of clowns after having a bad experience with one personally, or seeing a sinister portrayal of one in the media. The weird appearance of the clowns with swollen red noses and unnatural hair colors makes them look mysterious and treacherous. Adults who are victims of calrophobia know that their fear is completely irrational and illogical, but they can't escape the circumstance. Fun fact, Tim Curry actually suffers from calrophobia, and while filming the TV miniseries Stephen King's It was in his contract that he wasn't allowed to look or see himself in a mirror for fear that he would freak out at the sheer sight of himself dressed as a clown. Quite crazy considering how insane his performance was.
9.
Neophobia. Neophobia is the fear of new things or experiences. It's also called Cathophobia. In psychology, neophobia is defined as the persistent and abnormal fear of anything new. In its milder form, it can manifest as the unwillingness to try new things or break from routine. The term is also used to describe anger, frustration, or trepidation toward new things and toward change in general. Some conservative and reactionary groups are often described as neophobic in their attempts to preserve traditions or revert society to a perceived past form. Technophobia can be seen as a specialized form of neophobia by fearing new technology.
8.
Hippopotamus So here's a fun fact. The second longest town name in the world belongs to a town in Wales called Llanfair Gwyngyl Gogorich Werndrab William Tysilio Gogogok. Go on, you try and pronounce that without making a mistake. Imagine having a phobia like Hippopotamonstrosesquipedalophobia and reading the town name. You'd freak the hell out. For those of you who don't know, Hippopotamonstrosesquipedalophobia is a phobia that's centered around the fear of long words. Imagine being diagnosed with this phobia. You'd be scared at the sheer name of it. Hell, imagine if you lived in Llanfair Gwyngyl Gogorich Werndrab William Tysilio Gogogok. You'd probably fall into a coma by just seeing a sign for the town. Imagine having this fear and also having a fear called hexacosio I hexacontic hexaphobia, which is a fear of the number 666. You'd swear that both of these phobias were invented by the devil himself. Either way, this phobia is pretty damn strange. Also, I'd hate to be the guy who wrote this script. Screw you! I imagine I'll be suffering from Hippopotamonstrosesquipedalophobia.
7.
Paraskevetic atriophobia. A Friday occurring on the 13th day of any month is universally considered to be a day of bad luck in English, German, Polish, Bulgarian, and Portuguese-speaking cultures around the globe. Whether it's a combination of several superstitions or for the sheer fact that gruesome historical events happened on that day of the month. For example, on October 13, 1307, where Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, along with the King of France, sentenced a monastic military order known as the Knights Templar to death and ordered the torture and crucifixion of their leader. We all cite Friday the 13th as the most unlucky day on the calendar. Well, to us maybe, but I know Jason Voorhees has a good time when Friday the 13th rolls around. Anyway, the fear of Friday the 13th is called Paraskevetic atriophobia. Alternative spellings include Paskevodecatriophobia or Paraskevitic atriophobia, and is a specialized form of triskaidekaphobia, a phobia or fear of the number 13.
6.
Megirocophobia. To be fair, we think most inexperienced cooks have this fear when cooking for a crowd. This bizarre fear, which comes from the Greek word megirokos, which translated means a person skilled in cooking. This incredibly strange yet common disorder can be debilitating and can potentially lead to unhealthy eating if one lives alone. Other side effects can make the person suffering from this phobia feel extremely intimidated by people with skills in cooking. And this intimidation and feeling of inadequacy is probably the root cause of the disorder for many.
5.
Panphobia. Now, this fear is something that's strange for the simple reason that it's literally a phobia of nothing. Now, just hear us out. Panphobia, also called omniphobia, Panthophobia or Panphobia is a medical condition known as a non-specific fear. The sufferer finds themselves in an almost constant state of fear, but with no rhyme or reason as to what they're scared of or why they're scared. And because of this, there's no easy remedy. It's been described as a vague and persistent dread of some unknown evil. This fear is often seen as a secondary condition to schizophrenia.
4,
Medorthophobia. Okay, before we start, let's tackle this fact like adults, okay? So this phobia is a condition defined as a persistent, abnormal, and unwanted fear of an erect penis. Okay, we know for a fact some childish viewers are laughing at that, but we'll try not to be too hard on them. Now that we got that out of the way, each year this surprisingly common phobia causes countless people needless distress, known by a number of names: Medorthophobia, Phallophobia, Ithiphallophobia, and our personal favorite, Flaccidus erectus, being the most common. The problem often significantly impacts the quality of life. It can cause panic attacks and keep people apart from loved ones and business associates. Kind of a hard pill to swallow. Well, technically that would fix their problem, but still.
3,
Cathophobia. So, for those unaware, this is the fear of sitting down. This disorder can be sparked off by a particularly nasty case of hemorrhoids, but in some serious cases it can be due to physical abuse relating to sitting on sharp or painful objects. Either way, this phobia is related and triggered by past experiences. Another example of past experiences triggering this fear can be due to some punishment you were given at school or prank pulled by school peers and friends. Either way, past experiences play a big part in this phobia. However, past experiences aren't the only thing that can set this phobia off, as it could be a combination of this phobia and another phobia that could relate to your social status, like sitting in front of elite and influential people. Some of the characteristics of this phobia are symptoms such as sweating, heavy or short breath, and anxiety.
2,
Pantheraphobia. Of all the phobias on this list, this one is probably the most common. I mean, come on, we all fear our mother-in-laws. Now, of course, we're not saying that all mother-in-laws are wicked or horrible, even though it might be hard to believe that. However, we're sure that most married people have, at one time or another, suffered from this terrible fear. This fear is one that's so common in Western society that it frequently appears in movies and other forms of entertainment. A related phobia is Megirocophobia, which is a fear of your stepmother. Cinderella may be the most famous sufferer of this phobia, as well as any other main character from a Disney animated film whose parents are dead.
1,
Paperphobia. Okay, this one is just downright strange. So religion is a pretty serious subject, and no, we're not going to go into detail or start debates in regards to religion. However, this phobia is just strange. Now, what is this phobia centered around? You'd think the devil, considering our introduction to this portion of the video, right? Well, not exactly. Paperphobia is a phobia in which a person is scared of the Pope. We're not making this up. Yes, this is probably the weirdest of the lot, but some people actually fear the Pope. To be fair, if it was Pope Innocent VIII, then it would make sense, as he drank the blood of 3 kids. The phobia may be related to the fear of saints or holy men. So if you suffer from it, you definitely can't visit the Vatican City, that's for sure.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.